at one of the most spectacular houses on Lake Mahopac. Selfishly, I say that because I did sell it to the present owners. It was somewhat run down at that time. However, now it is the most spectacular setting with one of the best views of the lake and Canopus Island. So the Yorktown Lake Mahopac connection is quite solid. Many people from Yorktown have discovered Lake Mahopac, including myself briefly, and move here for the lake. This house in the background here, the big, huge, beautiful new house, they were Yorktown people, lived in my old neighborhood, Huntersville neighborhood, and now have a house on Lake Mahopac. And we have further houses that I'll show you later of people that have moved from Yorktown. So now I am driving the boat around the end of the Point, which is this fabulous neighborhood, secluded, private, accessed, very convenient to town. But this house on the end of the Point is especially grand because it has multiple houses on the property and a little bridge connecting to a small island, which I've said for years would be ideal for a wedding. They could walk across the bridge, get married on the island, and the congregation or the visitors or the guests to the wedding would be on the mainland. So I also love history. So the history of Lake Mahopac, having grown up here as a small child, I grew up in Carmel and we visited Lake Mahopac all the time. This grand estate was all one property with the 3 green roofs, the main house, which is mansion-like for sure, the guest house here, and then the boathouse over here. Now there's a house that they sold land in between and it's been broken up and they're all individual houses, including the boathouse. But it's fun to know the history that it was big, grand estates on Lake Mahopac back in the day. Behind me here is one of the many boat slips, they call them. And there's no houses on them. They're just boat houses on them, but used in the summertime, obviously, for having a boat, people coming up from other towns around the area. Another way of using and enjoying Lake Mahopac. And they are also sold many times. So as you know, I grew up in Carmel and had many fond memories of Lake Mahopac. I never really experienced the lake fully until I actually moved onto the lake. This house in the background here with those famous blue chairs is one of 2 houses that I lived in on Lake Mahopac over the years. Another example of one of those big grand estates on North Lake Boulevard is what I have dubbed the Great Gatsby House, the huge house here. And then the house in between was just empty land and is a gorgeous house now, one of my favorites. And then the third building is where the servants' quarters, the help for the main house lived. And now that's rental apartments. But this whole swath of property was one grand estate. And by far the most architectural boathouse on the entire lake is connected to one of those properties now. So of course, Lake Mahopac has had their share of celebrities. One of the more famous ones is this house in the background here, where Henry Winkler's grandparents had him come up. And this is the lake. He said in various interviews he's learned to water ski on this lake. So Henry Winkler's house. And then just to the left of Henry Winkler's house was Joe Torre's house up until just a few years ago. This was his summer weekend getaway place. We all know Joe Torre, famous from the Yankees. So we do have a number of celebrities over the years in and out of Lake Mahopac. Behind me, there's 5 houses, all of which used to be on the property of the last grand hotel called the Forest House on Lake Mahopac. Back in the day, there were many, many grand hotels on the lake, and people would come up on the train from the city. Another personal thing is I went to my junior prom before the Forest House was taken down. A little bit more history again of Lake Mahopac. So the little stone house that brought me to the lake is in my background here. Hurricane Sandy, 5 trees in Yorktown, brought me to Lake Mahopac, to this idyllic little tiny, tiny stone house. Probably, if I had to guess, the smallest house on the entire lake, but just a magical, magical year of living on the lake through both seasons, all the seasons, winter, summer, spring, fall. So what kind of magical experience is it when you can pull your boat up to the restaurant, disembark, have a wonderful meal, a drink, see a sunset, see the sun, the clouds, and then get back on your boat and putt-putt home? This is one of many restaurants on Lake Mahopac. It's quite the lifestyle. On Lake Mahopac, we have 2 marinas. The one in my background here next to the library being one of them, and the other one we'll show you later. Very convenient for day trippers. They can rent a boat at the marinas. They can keep their boat at the marina. And it makes for a little bit of busyness July and August on the weekends. Other than that, it's kind of fun to watch all the jet skis and the water skiers and all the sailboats and all the different boats go by. There are 3 islands on Lake Mahopac. Ferry Island behind me being one of them, which is accessed by a causeway, and there's 6 lots of houses. And then we have Petra Island, which is a 15-acre island, which that infamous Frank Lloyd Wright house is on. Been on the market over the years for $15 million, $12 million, $10 million. Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt were going to buy it. Rumor had it because it's in the shape of a heart. That was about 2 weeks before they split up. And then the 3rd island is Canopus Island, which is also a very unique island in that it has lots that you can purchase, but you can't build anything on Canopus Island, just a dock and nothing else. But you can camp there as long as you have a boat to get out there. That's only accessed by boat, as well as Petra Island by boat. Although Petra Island, you could also use a helicopter if you purchase the island.